I am so excited about what we're going to do today. I'm excited about your future, the potential that you have inside of you. This webinar was designed with you in mind. This webinar was designed specifically to help launch you to your career, to launch you to your destiny, to launch you where you needed to be. The question of what is purpose, or how do I reach my purpose? How do I walk in purpose? How do I fulfill purpose is a question that everybody has always had in the back of their mind. So many people have been complacent in life because they have not understood what their purpose is in life. So therefore, they have had a culture shock, or they had an attack on their identity because they have not walked in fulfillment of their purpose. But today, I have the information, I have the tools to unlock who you are. I have the tools today and the information to present to you to allow you to walk in your purpose. You will be fulfilled on today. I promise you that I have some nuggets. It might seem very simplistic because the answer of what purpose is, the answer of how to walk in purpose, the answer of how I reach my destiny is easy. And I promise when I give it to you, you'll be like, what have I been doing all my life? How come I didn't find this information earlier? I really needed this 15, 20 years ago. But guess what? You are where you are right now, not by accident, not by happenstance, but it was destined for you to be where you are right now. You still have chances, you have the opportunity. If you have breath in your body, if you are living, if you are moving, if you are thinking, if you are doing, you still have the chance to unlock your purpose. You still have the chance to walk in a fulfilled destiny life. And today we are going to celebrate who you are as you begin to understand who you are and walk in purpose. Today's live webinar is entitled, What is Purpose? I need everybody who's watching on Facebook Live, who's watching on my website, who's on YouTube, make sure that you go to ptministry.com. Go to my website. Everybody that goes onto the connect with me and you give me your email address, I promise you I will email everybody this PowerPoint presentation for the live webinar, What is Purpose? But you have to connect with me in order to get the live webinar. This is something that you should take full advantage of, because this is a live webinar, live information to strengthen who you are. So don't miss out on all the information that you can get to launch you where you need to be. I promise you this is not going to be a long webinar. We're not going to be here 20, 30 hours. It's not going to be an hour. It's going to be maybe about 15 minutes of your time to give you relevant information to launch you where you need to be. Y'all ready? Are you ready to unlock who you are and unlock your purpose? So just jumping straight in to give you understanding of what purpose is. Purpose is defined as the intent, the reason that something was made or created, the reason why something exists. Those are the definition of what purpose is. Purpose is defined as the intent behind what is going on, the intent behind what you're doing, your motives. That is purpose. It's also defined as the reason why something was made or created, the reason why something exists. Purpose is the reason why you were birthed. The purpose is the reason why you exist here on the earth now. Purpose is the reason why you are who you are and why you do what you do. Purpose is everything about you. So everything that you are is an answer. If we can connect those dots, that purpose is the reason why something exists. Purpose is the reason why something was made or created, which means everything that you are is an answer. You are the answer to a question. You are the answer to a problem. You are the solution to an incident. You are the remedy for sickness. You were born to solve things. Everybody. We are all here for a purpose, and that purpose is to be an answer. There is no one that was born, there's no one that's living right now who does not have a purpose, who does not have something that they should be doing. But you were born to answer a problem. You were born to create something to change someone's life. You are here on purpose to change someone's life. Everybody's affected by someone in any kind of way, but you are the answer. And if you keep on that in that mind, we're going to break that down here in just a minute. So purpose is defined as the reason why something exists. Purpose is why you're made. Purpose is why you're created. And if you are the answer to a problem, if you are the answer to a solution, if you are the remedy for sickness, if you are the reason why an incident will be rectified, that means that you are purpose. You are purpose. You are your own purpose. But the thing is, we have to unlock what that actually means. We have to dive in to the definition. We have to dive into our traits, our character, and see how that releases who we are as individuals and how we can begin to walk in purpose. If we understand that first, we are purpose. You are purpose. You were created for a specific reason. Not just to live, to walk, to breathe, to eat, to throw trash, to lay around. You were created to solve some kind of problem and be a solution to the world. So if we understand that we are purpose, that means purpose is not something that you search for. Purpose is something that you develop. Let's say it again. Purpose is not something that you search for. Purpose is something that you develop. You have to develop purpose. If purpose is the intent or the reason that something exists, then it can't be a physical location. It has to be more than just me looking on a map and saying, hey, where is purpose? How can I find it? Purpose is who you are. Purpose is what you were destined to be, because you are a problem solver. So if you are a problem solver, you have to develop that innate energy. You have to develop your potential. That way you can begin to start solving problems. So purpose is not something that you search for. Purpose is something that you develop, because purpose was the intent why something was created. Purpose is why something was made. So that is an action item. It's not something that you search for. It's something that you develop. Okay? Purpose is not where I go, but what I can do. If we understand that purpose was something that was created, and we understand that we are purpose, and purpose is something that we must develop, purpose is not where I go, but purpose is what I can do. So the question is, what can you do? What passions do you have? What actions make you feel complete? When you are involved in something, when you're involved in teams, when you're involved in a group, when you're working on a solo project, what can you do? Can you play a musical instrument? Can you sing? Can you write? Can you draw? Can you run? Can you jump? Can you leap? Can you soar? What is it that you can do? Everybody can do something. Nobody was born without a gift. No one was born without an ability. So what ability do you have? Because you are purpose, and purpose is an action. So what can you do? Because it has to be developed. It has to be groomed. It has to be enhanced. It has to be trained. So if you are purpose, what is it that's inside of you that you can do that brings you fulfillment? What is that passion that brings you that desired goal? What is it that you can do? What is your ability? Me, myself, I can write. I have a very high comprehension, so that allows me to flow and function in different areas. Just because you have a innate ability that you don't have to work hard to do does not mean you don't have to be developed. Everything that you do, everything that you are, must be developed. When you were born, you started off making goo goo gaga noises. You were crawling, you were looking. As you grew up and as you started having more senses, as you started developing your mind, your cognitive understanding, you started functioning, doing more. So the more that you adapted to your environment, the stronger you got, the more energy that you could release. So just like purpose, once you understand what you can do, that physical thing, that mental thing, that action thing that you can do, you must develop and start to build on that and allow it to function outside of who you are. So purpose is not where I go, but what I can do. What can you do? That is a major question that you must solve. That's a question that only you know the answer to. I can't tell you what you can do. I can see what you can do as you begin to flow and function in it. But you know your skills, you know your desires, you know your development of what you can and cannot do. So once you understand what you can and cannot do, you must begin to develop it, because purpose is not where I go, but purpose is what I can do. So start building on what you can do. Purpose is an action, and once you find out what you can do, then you discover where you can go. See how that works together? First, you understand what purpose is. Purpose is the reason why you were here. Purpose is the functionality. Purpose is what you can do. So once I understand what I can do, once I understand my gifts, once I understand my talents, once I understand how I function, then it opens up the doors to where I can go. But I can't go anywhere until I understand what I can do first. So purpose is the vehicle to get you where you need to go. It can only be driven once you understand how to drive. The more you develop it, the further it will go. So you understand what purpose is, you understand what you can do, your action, your traits, your training. You understand how those things function together congruently. And the more you develop your skills, the farther you can go. Which means if you are lazy and you do not develop who you are, you do not develop what you can do, you can only go to a certain spot. You will be stagnant in your undevelopment, or you'll be stagnant in where you can go if you don't develop yourself. So if I am in kindergarten and I learn my ABCs, if I never take the time to actually learn the vowels, the consonants, the sounds, how they make, I can never progress and start putting words together. I can never progress and put sentences together. I can never progress and put paragraphs together. I can never progress and create pages of books. I have to start somewhere and understand that and develop on that. And the more I develop on that, the farther I can go. So once you understand the skills, the giftings that you have, you must develop them, because the more you develop them, the farther you can go. But you can't go anywhere till you first unlock who you are and begin to develop on it. And once you develop, then the endless possibilities of where you can go. Once you develop who you are and what you can do, purpose becomes habitual. Purpose becomes a lifestyle, because you're not searching where you're supposed to go. You function where you have developed yourself to go. Yeah, catch that. You function and develop, and you function and go where you have developed and trained yourself to go. There are people who are on platforms that speak all over the world because they have developed the ability to speak in front of people. They have developed and they've read and they took their mind to another level to where they can speak. I don't care if it's in front of 15 people, 20 people. If they travel around the world, they have developed that skill to go around the world. And there's people who you see artwork. Why? Because they took the time to develop that skill on drawing, on painting, on lights, on density, on how to be abstract. They took what they could do and they developed them. So now you see who they are. Now you know who they are because they have developed their skills, and now they are walking in purpose, not because they're looking for somewhere to go, but because they are functioning on who they are. So purpose is an action, and once you find out what you can do, then you discover where you can go. See, it's all found inside of your DNA. DNA is who you are. DNA is the molecules that make up who you are. Your DNA is your who you are from your heritage. It's passed down from one person. You don't create your own DNA. You don't say, you know what, I want DNA and I'm developed. No, your DNA is passed down from your mother, from your father, from your grandparents, from your great-grandparents. It's something that is produced, and DNA continues to build on itself. DNA replicates itself. So if DNA is a replication of someone else that's passed down onto who you are, which means that what you do and how you function is surrounded by your environment. So if you don't understand who you are or what your skills are or what your giftings are, if that is a question in your mind that I don't know what I can do, start looking at your surroundings. Look where you came from. Because 9 times out of 10, you function off the environment, or you function based off what your family does. Let's break that down. Let's see how that functionality is accurate and how that flows together. Say, for instance, that my parents are doctors. So statistically, 90% of people follow in the same path as their parents or their family heritage. So 9 times out of 10, if my parents were doctors, then somehow or another I would flow in that same pedigree, or I'd flow in that same career path, because I see what they're doing, and that gift that they pass it on to me, and they train me based off what they can do and how they can function. So then I grow up to be a doctor. They might be a surgeon, and I might be a pediatric doctor. I might be a podiatrist, a foot doctor, but somehow in the line, I fall and flow in that same methodology of what my parents do, because it's found in my DNA. If my parents were speakers, 9 times out of 10, I would flow in that same spectrum. I flow in that same career path, or in that same kind of area of being a speaker, whether it's a preacher, whether it's a motivational speaker, where it's a mentor, while I'm speaking, engaging with people. You see how that works. So if you don't understand, or you have to question who you are or what you can do, start looking at your environment, because who you are is based off your DNA. The thing about DNA is that you have recessive genes and you have dominant genes. Some of your genes are just standing out, and some of them are dominant to where they are recessive to where they pop up so often, which means I don't have to do the exact same thing as my parents to flow in the same gifting or the same area of them. But what happens is I might flow in something that is connected to what they do. Say, for instance, if my family heritage are people who fight. Just take it from perspective that on my dad's side and my mom's side, my granddad used to box. On my dad's side, I had cousins that used to box. I have family that were professional boxers. So fighting is in my family for some reason on both sides. Fighting is in my family. On both sides of my family, my grandparents and my parents and my ancestors were entrepreneurs. On one side, they were contractors. They work with their hands to help develop. You see how it's connected, that each family are working with their hands to build something, to create something. So I might not be an entrepreneur, or I might not be a boxer, but I work with my hands to fight something. So I could end up being a lawyer, because I had the passion and desire to fight for something. So I am able to fight on the behalf of people who cannot fight for themselves. Whether it's kids, whether it's adults, whether it's marriages, whatever it is, I fight for them because I had that instinct in me to fight and build a business, or to flow entrepreneurially. Or it could be that my family were speakers, or they developed communication. So instead of me being a public speaker, I am a public defender, because I have the trait of a communicator and the trait of a boxer that combine together. You see, I don't have to be a boxer to say, hey, I might not like to fight or get hit in my face physically, but I like to fight for people. So my DNA unlocks who I am because of what my ancestors did, what my predecessors did, what my family did. So looking at your family heritage, research who you are, research what you do, because you are functioning based off what you do. Even if we take it and look at it biblically, if you look in the Bible, the Old Testament, each family member or each tribe had a certain function. You might be from the tribe of Judah, which means they were praisers. So all of that people in that group, they prayed, whether it was with instruments, whether they could sing, whether they was playing the flute, the drum, tambourine, whatever. They were praised, they were worshipers. You might be a tribe that were fighters. All they did was fight. You might have been a tribe that built or worked with your hands to make weapons. So they passed in the lineage. So everybody that was born in that tribe functioned that way in one way or another. And we are the same way now. Look at it. If you look at it in research, a lot of people function after their parents. And the thing about it is, sometimes you could dislike your family and say, you know what, my mom was a doctor, my uncle was a doctor, my dad was a doctor, my granddad doctor. I don't want to be a doctor. So you choose to go do something else that you feel or that you think is erupting your family's legacy or what your family does. But if you take a look instinctively, what you are actually doing is that you are actually maybe still flowing in that same realm of what your parents do, but man, y'all, it's a wasp. See, we're live right now. Anything can happen, but as you develop yourself, as we're talking right now, as you're developing yourself, as you're training yourself, you don't let other things that are circling around you to affect what you are doing, because I can still talk and engage no matter what's coming on right now, because I have programmed myself to speak and to release something for you on today. So regardless of what comes my way, I am prepared to fight all circumstances, to fight all words, to fight all deeds, to fight all actions, because I'm not looking for something to create who I am. I'm not searching for purpose. I'm walking in purpose because I know who I am and I know what I can do. So then I birth out through action who I am. So which means you can only go as far as what you're willing to sacrifice. You can only go as far as what you're willing to develop. So if you're not willing to develop yourself, you're not willing to train yourself, if you're not willing to work as hard as you can on yourself, you will only go as far as you can walk, as far as you can throw, as far as you can jump, as far as you can leap. When people who can dunk in the NBA, they didn't just wake up one day and can dunk. They train themselves by putting on weights on their legs, by jumping, by running, by building leg muscles that they could dunk. So if you're saying, I want to be able to dunk, and all you do is stand there and just jump and not build your muscles or not research what you need to do to develop who you are to actually dunk, you would never reach where you are. So you will always be intimidated by people who can dunk. You will always be intimidated by what you cannot do because you have not developed what you are. So like I said again, purpose is not something that you search out for. Purpose is who you are because you were birthed to solve and answer. If you look back over your life, if you look back over history, everybody was created at that time, at that point, to solve a solution or to solve a problem of what was going on in that time in history. We wouldn't have cars now if the person who developed cars wasn't invented, or he wasn't created or birthed at that time frame, and he had something in him to say, you know what, I have something in me that I have to release. Regardless of what nobody said about a car being crazy, he said, hey, I have to figure out how to get from point A to point B faster. How can I do this? And that mechanicism that he had from his family allowed him to create a car. Someone says, you know what? Cars are too slow. I got to get something worse. So someone created a train. Why? Because they took what somebody else developed and they used with the training that they had and the skill that they had and developed even further. Even the Wright brothers with flying. They were bicycle. They owned a bicycle shop. They had no idea about aviation. So what did they do? They researched birds. They researched wind altitude. They researched everything and took the knowledge and what they had researched and studied and developed the airplane. Nobody had ever flown before. When people said, they said, you know what? I need to be in the sky. People thought they were crazy. But they knew what they had inside of them. They knew the potential that they had. And they worked hard and they trained themselves. And now we know about the Wright brothers creating their plane because they didn't let what people had to say about them stop what they had to do. They knew something was birthed on the inside of them to solve an answer. You might have the same question of, what about all the people who did evil stuff like Hitler and all them? I guarantee you that there was somebody around him who heard what he was saying, who heard what he was saying, who saw what he was doing and despised or had a solution to stop him, but because they did not step out and fulfill their purpose of what they were created to do, they allowed controversy and mayhem to happen. There's some people around you who you see unwaverly or unworldly kids that act up, and something on the side of you says, I have to discipline these kids, or I need to help these kids out. But if you don't do anything, then you are not walking in your purpose to help solve the solution that you were created to do. Everybody was created to solve a problem. You are a problem solver, regardless if anyone has told you that or not. You are not worthless. You are not nothing. You are something, and you are a solution to someone and to everyone's problem. But you have to understand who you are and what you can do. Just like batteries. If I ask you what a battery does, you say, you know what? Batteries are small, or they come in very sizable. But what battery does is it offers power to something. That's all a battery does. It's offer power. It gives electricity to something. So the potential of where a battery can go is based off what the need for it is. The solution is to give a battery to a light, to a camera, to a car. No matter what I need the battery's power to do, it fulfills that. So I won't just take a battery and just throw it in the water or throw it in the bathtub or throw it somewhere and expect it to work a function. I have to understand what the functionality behind what it is to do first. And once I understand the functionality of what a battery does, then where I can put it and how I can use it, the endless possibilities. But I first have to understand the functionality of a battery and how I can use it. Cars, what's the functionality of it? Trains, what's the functionality of it? Chairs, what's the functionality? Once I understand what it does, where I can use it and where it can go, it's endless. That's the same thing with you. You must develop yourself. Once you look at your environment, look at your family heritage, look at what you can do, your skills, your traits, what passions, fire that on the inside of you and allow you to function and be who you are. You are great. Say that with me. I am great. Say, I am the solution to a problem. I am created to fix someone's life, even if it's myself or people around me. You are more than what people have said you to be. You are more than what you have thought yourself to be. You are purpose, because you were created for something. You are purpose. You don't search out purpose. You develop purpose. So start working on yourself. Start developing yourself. That way you can go anywhere you want to in life. People are stuck in areas because they have not developed yourself. So work on yourself. Get your work ethics together. Get your understanding together. Get your comprehension together. Get your networking together, because you have somewhere that you need to go. Okay? Now y'all with me. Develop yourself, because there's somewhere that you need to go, but you can only get there once you unlock who you are. This is the purpose of why you are here. That is purpose. We found it. We are the purpose, and we have created ourselves to be something that we are great. You are great, and let yourself be great today and every day to come. Make sure that you go to ptministry.com, connect with me on there, and make sure that I get your email address, that I can see this presentation, that I can get you this PowerPoint, that you can share it with your family, that you can share it with your friends, with your kids, with your relatives, that you all can sit down and break down this thing together, because you need to start talking and releasing who you are through your words. The more you say that you're great, the more that you say I'm walking in purpose, the more you say I'm fulfilling what I was created to do, the more you do it. The more you hear yourself, the more you chase after what you are supposed to do. I want you to be great, because you are supposed to be great. I'm great, you're great, everybody around you is great, and you have something that you need to fix. So start fixing on it right now.